Before you invest a single dollar in the stock market, you're going to face a lot of decisions about how to invest your money and where to invest your money. You're going to watch one YouTuber that will tell you that this is the best brokerage, and you'll read an article that will tell you something completely different. Before you know it, you're totally confused and you didn't invest your money. Well, guess what, folks? 18 months ago, that was me, so I can completely empathize with you when it comes to making decisions like that. The irony for me was I was actually using the brokerage that I'm currently using long before I even started investing. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the brokerage that I use to show you some of the features and the benefits of it. Overall, I want to show you how simple it is to use so that you can make an informed decision about how to start investing your money with this brokerage if you decide to use it. And of course, we're going to look at the performance of my portfolio and do my bi-weekly buys, so stick around to the end because I'll walk you through actually how to buy a stock and show you how simple it really is. So if you want to get started with investing, let's jump in. The brokerage that we're talking about is Wealthsimple. It has become the one-stop shop for a lot of investors, particularly for those that are beginners. But the bonus is that it doesn't have to be a beginner's platform. It can actually be used by other traders. Today's video, we're going to talk about a lot of the benefits of this platform so that you can make that decision for yourself. First, let's talk about the overall look and simplicity of the layout of this particular platform. Now, the best place to use it is on your cell phone, but it's not isolated to that. You can actually use it on your laptop or on an iPad. And the beauty of it is it's designed to be mobile. That's why the best version of it is actually on your phone. And for me, that's the best thing because I'm on the go all the time. Like many of you, I'm a dad and I have a job and I need to get around. So I like to be able to have access to all the features. So the majority of the features are actually on the mobile portion on your phone. There are certain features that are on the desktop version that are not quite the same. When I opened my account, it was super simple. You just basically go to their website, click on Get Started, and within about 5 or 10 minutes, you actually have your account open and then you can fund it. Now, another bonus feature about this platform is that you can link multiple accounts from various locations to start funding that account. Of course, Wealthsimple does have the option of opening up a high interest savings account, which you could use like a checking account. It can be considered like all-in-one banking. But if you don't want to do that, you can link your accounts, as I said, and before you know it, you funded your account. It also has the ability to track all the activity that's going on. So as the money comes in and then it's invested, it actually tracks all that information through the activity tracker. Now, once you get your account set up and you're not too sure where to start, whether you want to be a DIY investor or you would like them to do it for you with the Robo account, you can choose either. Now, with the Robo account, it's great because they actually ask you a bunch of questions about your risk tolerance and what your goals are, and then they'll set your asset allocation up to follow that. So if you want to take a low risk portfolio, you can do that. Or if you want to go all in, you can do that. Now, the beauty is that you can change that at any time. Now, they do charge a fee, which really in the grand scheme of things, I don't think is a great deal of money. Now, if you add more money to your portfolio as it grows, that amount will actually drop down when you get to the premium level. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Now, the one thing that Wealthsimple does stand out for is the fact that it doesn't charge any fees for trading ETFs, stocks, or cryptocurrency. Now, when I started off way back 18 months ago in April of 2023, we were banking with TD at the time, and I started off with their brokerage, but quickly realized before I invested any money that they were charging fees of $10. And of course, when I looked at how much money we had, I felt that that would not help increase our portfolio. So by using Wealthsimple with no fees, you're keeping more money in your portfolio and watching your wealth grow faster. Now let's talk about the different types of accounts that you could actually hold within Wealthsimple. Again, this goes back to the ease of the platform. You will see them all on one screen in one place. So for instance, my suggestion to people is always to start off with a tax-free savings account. Use that room to make your money grow for you tax-free. That's the benefit of it. And if you want to know a little bit more about the tax-free savings account, I just did a video of it. You can check it out right here on the screen. Now the other accounts that you can use is the RRSP, which obviously is then giving you a tax benefit now, and then you would take that money out a little bit later in life and get taxed on it, the lower tax bracket, depending on where things are when you retire. And of course, by doing these things and holding some of these other accounts, you're actually going to keep more money in your account and growing and working for you. Now, if that wasn't enough, they actually offer a lot of other types of accounts which they've added over time, and they continue to add. So for instance, you can actually use the First Home Savings Account. So if you're looking to purchase a home, this is a great way to get your money working while you put it aside in order to purchase a home later. They also offer mortgages, so you could use the two in combination and have, again, all in one place, all of your banking. In addition to that, they also have a high interest savings account, which is something that I started up for my emergency fund, because an emergency fund is really important. And so with that account, I'm actually making interest on it. And looking back when we were with TD, which technically we still are right now, until a few more weeks from now, we're actually going to make some pretty big changes to the banking. What we were doing is we were actually getting charged by the bank to actually have our money in the account. And for those reasons, we've decided to move our money to two different banking. One of them is going to be with Wealthsimple, and another one which I'll reveal in another upcoming video. But again, another big feature of Wealthsimple is that you can have a cryptocurrency account along with all of your other accounts. Again, it would be all on your phone, all in one place. Of course, you can use it on your desktop or your iPad, but being on your phone, you can make changes to those accounts anywhere at any time. Of course, a lot of you might be into cryptocurrencies out there. It's definitely not something that I've explored just yet, but I'm really interested to hear from you guys. So if you're in cryptocurrencies and maybe you want to provide me with some advice or tell me about what you're investing in and how your journey was, leave it in the comments. I'm actually really interested to hear about it. It's something that I've really thought about, but I haven't come to the point where I want to invest in it. Now let's talk about the original reason that I actually stumbled across Wealthsimple long before it became the brokerage that I started investing with 18 months ago, and that's its ability to file your taxes. This system is actually very simple and user-friendly. It is a step-by-step process. So you simply start answering questions and inputting the information. And if you get to a point where you don't understand something, there's actually a little icon that you can hit. It will open up and actually explain things to you. Now, at the time for us, my wife and I were actually running an Airbnb in our house. And of course, with that comes the implication of taxes. In some cases, that's actually a benefit to you. So we had to utilize a tax program in order to do that. And at the time, we didn't really want to pay someone else to do it. At the time, it was actually done by donations. So you could make as big a donation as you wanted to help the program grow. We utilized it back then and have been utilizing it ever since and filing our taxes every year. And of course, now we have all of our investing, all of our banking. So when that tax return comes back, I then simply take that money and reinvest it right back into our portfolio and watch it grow. Let's go over the different tiers that exist within Wealthsimple so you can have a better appreciation for how that works as your wealth grows. So when you start off, you're going to be using the core, and that involves having $1 in assets. So you basically are going to open your account, you're going to fund it with essentially $1. And the benefits you get are the commission-free trading, of course. Now, the management fee for the robo accounts is 0.05%. And we do have a robo account, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And you can obviously open up a cash account that I talked about, and the interest rate on that is 2.75%, but there's more. The next tier is premium. That's when you have $100,000 in assets with Wealthsimple. And what's going to happen is the robo side of things will go from 0.5% to 0.4%. So you're getting a bit of a savings there. Now, we do have one of those accounts, like I said, and I'll talk about it in a bit. Your cash account will start earning 3.25% interest. You also get a complimentary USD account. So if you're a core user and you want to trade in USD, you actually have to pay per month to have a US account. But once you get to premium level, you don't have to pay for that anymore. And you get up to 3 rewards. And I'll go over those rewards in just a second because we've actually achieved those, and I'll show you an example of them. And lastly, they will actually check in. They have advisors that will check in. And this is also another great benefit of Wealthsimple, is that there are a variety of different ways that you can communicate with them, whether it be by email, by text, by calling them, and so on and so forth. And the next step is to be at generations. Generations is when you have $500,000 in assets. So if you're one of those and you watch my channel, congratulations for getting there. What's going to happen is the 0.4 management fee is going to drop to 0.2 to 0.4%. you're going to get 3.75% on your cash, up from 3.25%. So if you have that high interest savings account, you're going to have access to the 3 partner rewards that I told you that we get access to. You're going to have comprehensive financial planning with a dedicated advisor. And lastly, you're going to get 10 airport lounge passes in a year. Now, the one thing I'll say about these different tiers is they have continued to grow over time. They've added certain features. And so this is something that I'm always looking forward to when they introduce something new. So as far as rewards go, there are several different ones that you can pick. At the premium level that we're at, we get to pick 3, and my wife and I are going through the process of deciding which ones that we're going to pick. But as an example, you can see here that you can have access to certain types of restaurants. So just a couple other things I want to point out about Wealthsimple as far as the app goes. And remember that the app on your phone is where the majority of the features are. So in the top left corner is a notification bell. So anytime something's gone on in your account, you just hit that notification bell, because you can see there's a little red dot, and then you'll actually be able to figure out what either is being asked of you, or what trade didn't happen, or in our case, recently we had these benefits get sent to us for us to choose. And then on the right-hand side of the page, you can see that there is another icon that allows you to look at your total assets under management with Wealthsimple. And this is between my wife and I. So both of our accounts are merged together so that we can see the total value as we go up in each tier. So obviously, if you're starting out, you're in the very first tier, which is core. And then once you get $100,000, you're at that premium level. As you can see, we're growing, we're above that premium level on our way to the generations level, which does come with some more added benefits. And the nice thing is that they're tracking that for you right here on the screen, letting you know how close you're getting. Now, as I was recording this, you can see that I had a comment drop in because I'm recording off my phone. And I just want to take some time to acknowledge the person making the comment here. It's Vic Gill. Vic has been following me for a really, really long time, and he tends to make comments on just about every video that I make, and I really, really, really appreciate that. I know that sounds like a 2-year-old saying that, but at the end of the day, this is what drives me to continue to do more. So the more comments that you guys make, where you're either asking me questions or making some suggestions or even correcting me on stuff, this is why I started my channel. I had no idea what I had missed out on, and realized after I started investing that I could actually help other people. So I just wanted to point that out because you're going to see it in the video. So thanks very much, Vic, for following me as long as you have. And to all of those that take the second to hit that subscribe button, that's absolutely fantastic. So let's move on. All right, so the portfolio is sitting at $158,443. It's comprised of 4 separate accounts. I have my cash account, my TFSA, and my RSP and the kids' RESP. So the cash account is sitting at $19,820. Now this account earns 3.75%. So if you remember when I pointed the tiers out, this is where you're going to see that interest rate come into play. It has earned $12.17 this month. Now this is important. This cash account is my emergency fund. And if you're starting out investing, it's definitely something that you want to get in place before you start putting any money into the stock market. You don't really want to have any debt, and you want to have some money available so that if you were to run into some emergencies, you'd be good to go. In the last month, this account has earned $75.03. Now, over the last little while, the Bank of Canada has been slashing rates, and as they do these high interest savings accounts, the interest rates come down. Of course, if they were to change and go back up, you would see those rise up. But at the end of the day, your money's earning interest. All right, let's jump into the kids' RESP. It's sitting at $75,381. The biggest mistake I made with this account way back when was that I didn't start investing this money. It sat in an account for like 8 years doing absolutely nothing. Don't make the same mistake I did. Start investing now for your kids' future. So when they're ready to graduate, they're going to have $421,000, as you can see by the graph that's here. Now, of course, the more we add to it, the more it will grow. Here is what the asset allocation looks like. Now, it is a robo-advisor account, and if you remember, that comes with a fee, and in our case, it's 0.4%, and it's broken down. The one thing I wanted to point out at the bottom here is that, yes, we have US equities, international, and Canadian, but at the bottom, we actually have some government bonds and gold. Now, Gold has been absolutely on fire lately, so it's a great addition to the portfolio. All right, so looking at the net deposit, it's been $60,819 we put in. The returns on this account are $14,562, which equates to 23.94%. So if you look at that from a long-term perspective, if you had started long before I did, this would be great returns for you and the kid that you're investing for, or multiple kids. All right, so looking at the activity tracker since the last video that I posted, we had reoccurring investments. So right now we're making $100 every 2 weeks. You can make that whatever you want it to be. Right now I've chosen 100, and of course there's government grants that are matched to a max. And if you want to find out what the max is, you need to watch my RESP video because I talk about that there. So that money was invested into ZFL and ZEA. All right, so here you can see all the government grants that were paid for every contribution. The government matches those, and it's always paid out at the end of the month and then invested back into the portfolio. Here's the management fee. It was $26.29, so that's that 0.4%. And like I said, the higher in tiers you go with Wealthsimple, the lower that percentage becomes. And you can see that ZFL paid a dividend of $14.16. All right, let's jump over to the RRSP sitting at $19,145. Over the last day, it's up $528. Over the last week, it's up $388. Over the last month, it's up $815. Over the last 3 months, it's up $2,072. And over the last year, it's up $4,191. And all-time returns, $3,950. All right, so the TFSA is sitting at $43,609. Over the last day, it's up $583. Over the last week, it's up $387. Over the last month, it's up $1,039. Over the last 3 months, it's up $4,166. And over the last year, it's up $6,799. All-time returns on the account up $6,852. Again, if I can do this, you guys can do this. Remember, this is 18 months of investing. I keep harping on this, but imagine if I had started this when I was a lot younger. So don't make the same mistake I did. We have $1.62 sitting in cash in there right now in Canadian funds. And of course, we're going to drop our $1,000 in for the bi-weekly purchases that we make. Stock lending is turned on this account. We've earned $2.68. Currently, there's 37 shares of Plaza REIT on loan. The next payout on this part will be November the 14th. Now, I wanted to show something about the assets that are within this portfolio because I only hold 4 individual stocks. One of them here is BAM, which is Brookfield Asset Management. Now, this stock has been absolutely outrageous. You can see here it's up $839. It's a very small position at $2,000 roughly. It is up 67%. Now, imagine if I had thrown a lot of money into it, that'd be great. But this only proves my point that timing the market is nearly impossible. I would have no idea that that was going to go up like that. Take a stock like CNR that pays a nice dividend. It's a solid company. I've invested in it now for the last 2 or 3 videos. It's down $18, but it will turn itself around. It's a solid company. So that's why I'm investing in these types of companies. And it's obviously up to you to decide which companies you guys want to invest in. But the focus for me is more ETFs than it is single stock positions. I have to have a lot of conviction about those single stock positions. All right, so we had TD payout $16.53 in a dividend, and XEI paid out $11.13, and of course those two are set up on drip. All right, so we're going to use passive in order to help us figure out what to purchase this week. We can see here that we have our asset allocation at 95% accuracy. Now you can see that I have $3.62 sitting in there. I've discussed with you guys that I had some issues with passive as far as tracking the movement of money. They have corrected that issue, and I just wanted to make sure before I put my $1,000 in there that it was actually corrected. So I made 2 $1 contributions on top of the $1.62 was there, which is why there's $3.62. And of course it did work. So we can see the value of the account sitting at $43,630. And so what we're going to do is we're going to deposit the money from the cash account over into my TFSA. The reason for that is right now the cash account has been acting where my paycheck is dropped into, but in the very near future we're going to be making a complete swing change. So come December you're going to see banking has completely changed, and I will be doing a video on it. So now that we've gone ahead and dropped that money in, passive needs to update itself. So we'll just wait a second here, and then like magic, you'll see the $1,000 appear. There we go. So the $1,000 is there. We have $1,000 in the account. Now you can see that asset allocation accuracy has dropped to 93%. That makes the total value of the account $4,640. Now we're going to use passive in order to help us figure out what stocks or ETFs to purchase. Okay, so here we are. So passive is now telling us what we should buy based on the money that's there. So we're going to buy 2 shares of QQC. We're going to buy 2 shares of REI. We're going to buy 1 share of VFV. We're going to buy 5 shares of VRE. We're going to buy 5 shares of XEC, and we're going to buy 7 shares of XEF, and finally we're going to buy 6 shares of XEI. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you how this works with passive real time, so you can see me buy the stock, then have passive update itself, because when you're purchasing stocks, the price can change within the time that you've purchased it, and there may be a drop or gain in price, so it may change. So here we are, we're buying our 2 shares of QQC, which is one of the really easy things about Wealthsimple. So I can do it right on my phone, wherever I happen to be at any time of the day. And then after I've made that purchase, we get passive to update. So there's a refresh button here, and I'm doing this on my phone. It will update. So now it's dropped down to $934. And then we scroll down, and there you can see now it's on to the next stock, or in this case it's REI, and we're going to buy 2 shares of that. So I'll show you again. So we go into Wealthsimple, we buy the 2 shares of REI, very simple. Once that's completed, we go back to passive, refresh the screen. Again, this is all on my phone and can be done in the comfort of anywhere you happen to be. Now it updates itself, it goes through each account and updates itself, and once it's updated, you're going to see a drop. So there, it's down to $897, and we move on to the next stock. All right, so we've gone all the way through all the purchases. I'm at the very last one now, so we're going to buy those 6 shares of XEI. We can see we have $168 left. There we go, they're purchased, so now there's $2.69 left in that account. So sometimes what I'll do with that money is I'll make a fractional purchase and put it into something else, or sometimes I just let that money sit there. So now I'm going to do something a little different than I don't normally do this. I'm going to step outside my asset allocation a little bit. And I have a spreadsheet that you can see here that tracks all of the purchases that I'm making. What I want to do today is I want to buy more Plaza REIT so that I can get the drip set up. And in order to do that, I need to look at my spreadsheet, because it'll help me figure that out. So I'm updating the spreadsheet right now with the current information from Wealthsimple, so I know how much I currently have in the portfolio, checking the dividend. So what we're going to do with the dividend is jump over to dividendhistory.org, type in Plaza REIT. Once it comes up, you select it, and then when you scroll down, and this is a free website, you can actually then see what the ex-dividend date is, how much the dividend is, and you can see the past history of the dividend. So we can see here that in September it didn't change, and in October it's still the same, and now into November, and that's the one we want. So I go back to my spreadsheet, I input that data, but it didn't change, so I don't need to change it. The yellow mark you can see here is how close we are to getting to a drip, meaning how I'm buying 1 extra stock. It's at 67%. So we're almost there. So we know that we need $687 roughly of invested capital in order to get that drip going. So then we're going to transfer the money from the cash account into the TFSA. And again, this just demonstrates how easy Wealthsimple is to use. So I went up $1, so we're going to deposit that money in. And then the next step is to go in and purchase the amount of shares that we need. We're going to go into Plaza REIT and purchase it. So that works out to 68 shares, but we need a little bit more money. Again, a great thing about Wealthsimple, if you don't quite have enough money, it'll tell you how much you need, and then you just go ahead and automatically deposit it, and it doesn't interrupt you purchasing that security. So there we go, we've completely updated it. Now the next thing is that we're going to go back into the spreadsheet. So passive will update itself on its own, but I'm also keeping this spreadsheet in the event that I had some issues. So we're going to go in the spreadsheet. We're going to update the number of shares now to the total amount that we have. So now that you have a better understanding of Wealthsimple, how easy it is to use, some of the bonus features about it, your next step is going to be to buy some stocks and ETFs. And in order for you to figure out how to do that, I've created a playlist from day one when I started investing. So if you want to see what stocks I started buying and how I built my portfolio till today, you should watch this playlist right here.